Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you and welcome to this session. Kindly quickly let me know if I'm audible and visible to all of you. So those who are watching me here for the first time, new face to all of you. If that's the case, I'm Niharika John Mehra, your Faculty of English on CGB Mentor. Now here I have regular sessions, especially this session that you are attending. This is a regular session that I conduct here, and it is at 8 p.m. Classes are Monday to Saturday. Okay, so these are the days, and that's the time. Apart from it, 1:30 p.m. on this channel, I have practice classes. So though that's English subject practice questions, and we have those classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, so these 3 days we take 1:30 p.m. here, and the other days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, we have another channel, CGB IBPS Hub. So there I take classes. Thank you so much, Ajay, for confirming. So this is a power packed session where you get, first of all, practice and skill of skimming is honed. We have vocab, so we learn words and phrases. We also work on our grammar because all together helps you to clear the exam. Where English is asked, it's not just vocabulary alone, kar lo ho jayega, alone reading can help you. No, see guys, your competitors are doing everything possible. Competition has increased and you know that, okay, and the rate at which it has increased, seats have not increased at that rate. You have to go extra miles अगर आपको क्रैक करना है एग्जाम. तो प्लीज मेक श्योर टू कवर एवरीथिंग, डोंट लीव एनीथिंग जस्ट थिंकिंग ओके हमारे शायद 5 years 6 years बैक किसी सीनियर ने तो नहीं करा था. थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड, टाइम हैज चेंज्ड. ओके, सो प्लीज वर्क ऑन minor to major things that you can and have to cover. ठीक है, so we'll start with skimming. उसके पहले जल्दी से लाइक और शेयर कर दो, सब्सक्राइब, एंड डू चेक आउट लेटर ऑन डिस्क्रिप्शन for more details on our courses that are available on our website and on our app. Okay, so talking about this is the editorial from the Hindu, and when we skim, what you have to make sure is you have to make sure you focus on the subject and verb of every sentence. Try to understand it in English itself. Don't try to translate. You have to maintain a reading speed. I will give you a timer, 2.5 minutes में आपको पूरा पढ़ना है, along with an understanding of what is the main message of the article. Okay, so these are the things you have to do. Names, numbers, I can see a lot of numbers right now, you can also see. So don't focus a lot on them, just have a cursory reading. उनको पढ़ के आगे निकलो. Okay, understand if there is a trend, कुछ increase हो रहा है, कुछ decrease हो रहा है, you don't need to know the specification. All you have to understand in your mind is to is the final thing, if I can see a decreasing order or an increasing order or an average. Another important thing, don't try to pronounce everything in your mind. If it's a long word but you still can see and understand, you just try to comprehend it like a photo, like a picture, not as a text. Okay, तो वो आप करोगे यहाँ पे, and I'll give you the timer. You have to read this article, a slightly typical article we have today. Please get going. Once you're done reading in one line or two lines, please let me know what have you understood. What's the main message as per you in this article? Growth pangs on industrial activity. So we are going to understand this on industrial activity. What are the things that we are facing with respect to growth? Okay, you might have often heard a phrase hunger pangs. Now, pang, of course, is a sharp dart-like thing, but pang can be anything that is causing us a trouble, or it wants to be fulfilled. We have to do something about it, otherwise it is like a ache to someone or something. So India's industrial sector requires policy intervention amid global turbulence. So we get to see there is global turbulence. हमें देखने को मिलता है कि there is a requirement that policies are to be changed. The previous ones are maybe not functioning that well. So at 4%, India's fiscal 25 average of IIP is at its lowest in the past 4 years. So India's fiscal is at 4%, lowest in the past 4 years, marking a slowdown in industrial activity. So it's a big sign of a slowdown. This could be attributed to, this could be, now the thing happened, इसका कारण क्या हो सकता है? We can have reasons, and that are uncertainties in the global economic outlook, leading to tepid goods exports growth. So first of all, uncertainties हैं in global economic outlook, and इसके कारण goods exports growth जो है, it's tepid means it's weak, lukewarm, ठंडी है. This could be attributed to this lower than expected consumption demand growth. So lower than what we expected, that kind of consumption demand growth. A dip in private capital, okay. While monthly barometer of the nation's industrial output, IPP grew in March. हालांकि IPP का barometer, that's how it is measured, okay, an indicator that grew to 3% in March from 2.7, that was the previous month of March. This has been mainly on account of a rise in power production, which cyclically peaks in summer. So there is this power production every summer. We see a regular peak in it, and because of this we have seen this, okay, this better or improvement in numbers is seen because of that, but still overall number is not to be proud of. Next, we see the piece of information. Power output growth almost doubled between Feb and March, but the fall in IIP from 5.9 to 4 warrants a closer look. Now, it requires a closer look at the sectors that have lagged. We cannot simply be happy just to see 2 or 3 months and we can see some growth and we are satisfied. Author is saying, but there is a fall altogether year wise, and we have to make sure what are the sectors there that are lagged behind. While mining steeply, now there is further explanation. Now this is called inverted pyramid. Author is not mentioning details right in the beginning. You have to do the same in parajumbles. You have to do the same in your essay writing as well. That you first give a generic idea of an event, of a situation, and then you take anyone, your reader, deeper into what is explained. So here we get to see, while mining steeply declined from 7.5 to 2.9, manufacturing followed 5.5 and 4, and electricity at 7. What is more significant is degrowth of minus 1.6 in fiscal 25 witnessed in consumer non-durables. Okay, different sectors and different level of falls we can see, from 4.1 in the previous year. Contrasting with this, the growth almost doubling in consumer durables likely indicates an uptick in the urban private consumption. So We can see everything falling, but in contrast there is one thing, that is we can see doubling of numbers in consumer durables. Okay, and this is a sign, this indicates a uptick, that means urban private consumption is going high, while lingering effects of high food inflation in October to December quarter of the last fiscal continue to strain rural consumption. Still, एक चीज में अच्छा है, at the same time we get to see, because high food inflation still exists, it is affecting, it is straining rural consumption. Sure, retail inflation was at its lowest in 6 years at 4.6 in FY25. Retail inflation was at its lowest, that means हमारे फेवर में, aided by steep falls in vegetable prices in the last quarter, but this also heavily impacted farm incomes. So we saw retail inflation जो है वो lowest पे था, steep falls in vegetable prices, but it has ultimately impacted farm incomes. So GDP तो वैसे ही affect होगी ना, further straining rural consumption. While a decrease in the RBI's bank lending rate to 6% in April from 6.5 in January has led to lower capex lending rates across banks. Again, we read about this और हमने इस पे discussion भी करा था. I took this article long back where we saw how RBI has lowered its rate. So with this rate down to 6%, we can see that it has led to lower capex lending rates across banks. Okay, an uncertain economic and trade environment is likely to encourage. Now there is uncertainty of such an environment, business environment, economic trade environment is unlikely to encourage private sector to raise investment. So इतना attractive नहीं है sector अभी या market अभी that private sector invest in it without substantial domestic consumption impetus from the government. Now when we say impetus, it is the stimulus given by the government, incentive given by the government. तो उसके बिना तो private players are not into the game, okay, as of now. The flat growth in goods exports in FY25 is another area that must concern policymakers, as it indicates considerable strain on India's sprawling small businesses. एक और फ्लैट ग्रोथ है अभी माइनिंग में, इसमें उसमें तो हो ही रहा था, गुड्स एक्सपोर्ट्स में भी फ्लैट ग्रोथ है. सो वी वांट सम काइंड ऑफ intervention from the policy makers. That was clear from the title. That is the MSME sector who is suffering. That contributes to almost half in exports. This sector has witnessed remarkable growth over the past 5 years. This sector 5 years में अपने आप में grow हुआ, quadrupling 4 times in size from about 4 lakh to 12 lakh. However, given strained trade relation, because now there is some kind of strain in the trade relation, global level पे तो चीजें बहुत ही turbulent है. With country's largest trading partner, that is the US, India must ensure the bilateral trade agreement that is under negotiation, that this agreement fortifies India's nearly 60 million MSMEs. So currently जो negotiation हो रहा है, India needs to make sure that it goes well, because it is gonna, if it doesn't go well, it is going to hurt 60 million MSMEs, the vast majority of which are classified as micro industries, choti industries. And consequently, this will protect over 250 million jobs that the sector provides. And agar hamara negotiation sahi hua, so it can act as a protection. So we have to work on the bilateral trade agreement that can be a way out of things going down. Okay, ये था आप लोगों का passage. काफ़ी फाइनेंशियल डोमेन वाला था, फाइनेंस डोमेन वाला. जो कॉमर्स स्टूडेंट्स होंगे, they might have understood better than the other people. They might understand these things, the terms and all. But the thing is कि it doesn't matter ना, you come from science background, commerce, arts background, आप सब एग्जाम के लिए appear हो रहे हो, so you have to prepare yourself for each and everything. Let's get to the vocabulary now, okay? And don't forget to like and share in case you have joined late. Tepid is something, actually आपने tepid water सुना होगा, which is normal temperature water, lukewarm water. Not lukewarm, but you know, it's not way too hot or way too cold. Similarly, if there is any process, it has not that much of activity or aggression that we need. Also, we cannot say it is inactive altogether. It is somewhere in between. उसको हम tepid बोलते हैं. It is lukewarm, lacking enthusiasm, lacking force. फीका है, मंदी है थोड़ी सी. Capital expenditure को capex कहा जाता है. That is spending on assets to improve future productivity. Investment होता है, spending होती है investment के जरिए जो capex होता है. Barometer is a metric measure of trends. Okay. Degrowth is negative growth. So growth आपका कोई और regrowth आपने सुना होगा, growth सुना होगा, but if it is going in negative, just like we saw in the article, it is degrowth. It is declining. ऋणात्मक वृद्धि. Consumer durables, goods meant for long term use. इसका opposite भी था non durables. So some goods which we can use for a longer period of time. लॉन्ग लाइफ गुड्स, टिकाऊ वस्तुएं उपभोक्ता के लिए, उसे हम कंज्यूमर ड्यूरेबल्स बोलते हैं, जिसका मार्केट वी सॉ वाज वर्किंग आउट ऑफ द अदर मार्केट्स ऑफ कोर्स. लिंगरिंग इज लास्टिंग फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम, समथिंग जो कि ना लगा हुआ है, परसिस्टेंट है, वी हैव बीन सीइंग एक्सपीरियंस फॉर अ व्हाइल नाउ, उसे हम लिंगरिंग बोलते हैं. स्ट्रेन इज एनी काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रेस और प्रेशर, लाइक अ बर्डन, टेंशन. इट कुड बी फिजिकल, इट कुड बी मेंटल, इट कुड बी एनवायरमेंटल. Sprawling is spreading over a wide area, something जो कि expansive है, expensive नहीं. Look at the spelling, इसका synonym है ये, है ना? So it is expansive, expanse, that is space cover कर रहा है, extensive है, फैला हुआ है. Fortify is to strengthen and protect. अक्सर एग्जाम में पूछा जाता, देखा जाता है ये word. So to secure, to reinforce something is to fortify. Noun form of this is fortification. Impetus is momentum or stimulus. किसी चीज में गति लेकर आना. Encouraging to move forward. किसी चीज में push देना. Intervention is a very important word again. This means the act of becoming involved to improve or alter a situation. You must have, like I learned this word from a show, okay, a TV series. I would not name it, but of course it was a US TV series. And when I learned this word, it was in the context where some friends uh, would organize an intervention because the other friend was was drowning in alcoholism. Okay, so to interfere, to involve in order to improve the situation, to make sure the person or a group or an organization doesn't go the wrong way, उसको हम intervention बोलते हैं. Now this happens also on the national global level, where intervention somebody has to speak in between to improve the condition. Involve होना पड़ता है. Okay, so intervention is always for the good of someone. Whereas interference, इसका synonym तो है, but the context is totally different. Okay, when we interfere, it is unwanted. Okay, it is unwanted. It is something we don't want. It is something. It may not be for positive result. It may not be to improve someone or something. So interfere करना can mean anything, positive or negative. But intervention usually means positive, where we want to make sure something gets settled or at least improved. Attributed to is something credited to, किस कारणवश कुछ हुआ. Regarded as being caused by someone or something. So something is attributed to something. So means first thing किस लिए हुई है, उसके बाद आप second वाला नाम बताओगे जिस कारण हुई है. Now I'm gonna quickly give you some questions and you're gonna answer. Okay, so these are 4 to 5 grammar questions that we are gonna see working in the passage, and part of speech of this word. Part of speech of the encircled word. Rise is a verb in a noun. In this case, it is acting as a noun. Now, how do I know that? Because it is a rise. If I am saying a, an or the, these are the articles जिसको हम nouns के साथ use करते हैं. So when I need to check this word in error detection or I need to use this word in my essay or something, I'll be careful. Okay? So I hope you get it. I have another question now. You need to tell me what is the subject of this highlighted word is. Subject of this verb. Subject of this is. Come on, guys. Okay. So there are times when your sentence starts with what? Okay, but the sentence is an affirmative sentence. It is not an interrogative. मतलब question नहीं होता. So what is actually subject here, and that is always singular. What is more significant? What are important things? Is हो या are हो what के बाद, okay? वो matter नहीं करेगा. This is the element, the part that is helping us to complete this understanding of what. But the main thing is okay. What is the degrowth with respect to the more significant one? It is the degrowth of minus 1.6 in the fiscal 25. So what actually was the subject here? Cool. Part of speech of this word training. Part of speech of the word training. It is a gerund. Okay. Further what? Further straining. What का आंसर हमेशा noun होता है. Okay. Part of speech. It is a noun. Impetus is a noun. Okay. So without substantial domestic consumption impetus. I'll break this out. Without impetus. This is noun. Consumption impetus is actually domestic consumption. This along with impetus is giving you a compound noun. Substantial is adjective. Last one. Now this is something that I'll just share with you. So whenever you have given or verb third form in the beginning of a sentence, it will be there with some more words explaining us the situation. Okay, given something, given his nature, given trade relations, given the security. So it will mean, the structure means that एक चीज को अगर consider करें because of the, or as we consider this thing that I'm writing with given, second thing happened or the main thing happened. So this is the structure that we follow. Please make sure you follow the same in your essays and all also. It's a nice structure to be used in exam. So let's first see the summary. So we saw that IIP has dropped to a 4-year low, reflecting slowdown in manufacturing, mining, electricity output. The rural economy remains strained. यहाँ पे भी कुछ अच्छा नहीं है, as seen in the negative growth in consumer non-durables and lower farm incomes. While urban consumption and durables are rising. So we do see urban consumption or in durable is rising. Though inflation has eased, the MSME sector that is important to us faces challenges. MSME तो grow करा है, inflation ease हुआ है, but still they face challenges because of the export growth being flat, weaker global demand, and US trade ties. Editorial helps us, urges targeted policy. Now the solution that editorial suggests, it is that the policy should be made better and finalizing a strong trade agreement to protect MSMEs and so many jobs can work out. Okay, so ये दो तीन highlights थे हमारे पूरे article के. What all in the essay form you can be asked? So industrial growth versus rural consumption. Okay, so we can see how these two are behaving in a different manner. Reviving MSME sector, this could be as important one. Is monetary policy enough to boost industrial output? तो ये भी आप इसमें जो भी details है वो include कर सकते. We'll start with the questions. That's your first question. A, B, C, D. Answer is A. Which sector's performance explains the negative consumer durable growth? So rural agriculture and FMCG consumption, because FMCG sector is one of the non-durable ones. Mining, power generation and real estate are durables. Okay, so of course answer इसका A था. Second one. Second one के लिए भी it is C. Which of the following trends best illustrates the contrasting patterns of consumption? Degrowth in rural consumption and surge in urban. So contrasting is एक similar standard में negative तो उसी standard में कुछ positive. That is happening in the consumption case of rural and urban durables. Why does the editorial emphasize the need for a robust agreement with US? Because author is worried about MSMEs, he is helping us know, he is telling that we need to make sure to protect them from trade shocks and protect employment. He is also giving us the number of people who could be affected. Here is the stats for you people to interpret. Go ahead. Answer is B. So the growth in consumer durables from 3.6 to 8% reflects improvement in power generation only. No. Strong only के कारण वैसे भी out है. Strong demand from low income households. No. Rising urban consumption and aspirational spending. Long term durables पे जो हो रही है. Fifth one. Answer is B. Which of the following best represents editorial stance on private sector investment? It is expected to stall due to weak external demand, which was very well mentioned, and low domestic consumption stimulus. हमारे यहाँ पे भी इन्फ्लेशन के कारण कंजम्पशन गिरावट है, तो लो कंजम्पशन स्टिमुलस है, right? So B is the answer for the fifth question. Let's do some error detection questions. पहला, while power production has surged due to seasonal factors, while का subject plus word plus object first clause is over. The overall industrial output, now the second clause का subject, remained verb stagnated in March. It remained stagnant. Okay, we need to use the right word here, otherwise it will be a syntax error. Stagnant is a perfect adjective that does exist. तो stagnated क्यों बोल रहे हैं? It remained how? Adjective stagnant in March, warranting deeper analysis. Next one. Just ignore the blackout. Yes, there is no electricity at my place. You can focus on the screen, like the question part. Answer to this one is E. There is no error. So consumer non-durables, which typically reflects rural demand. Non-durables is a noun in itself. It's a singular noun just written this way. इसको plural नहीं बोल रहे हैं हम. So it reflects rural demand. This saw an unexpected contrast. Owing to what? Owing to falling. Falling what? Vegetable prices. Next one. The answer to this one is B. Now, the MSME sector sprawling and comprising, because I am explaining sprawling से लेकर units तक, sector was is expected to benefit from trade liberalization but saw limited gains thus far. Till here everything is okay. The section जो MSME sector को बता रहा है quite in the previous question, I will explain why that. Okay, just give me a moment. So this sector sprawling, this is adjective के समान काम करने वाला verb in ing acting as adjective. So we have to maintain parallelism here. Here I need to use the same form comprising. Okay, which is present participle as adjective. So that has to be balanced. Parallelism has to be maintained. अब एक question आया by 2 plus v1 ing. So I will tell you, okay. Owing to का to है ये. Owing is used with to. Something happened owing to something else. So after this to, you need a noun. If you don't get a noun, you use a gerund. Okay. Please don't think to आया तो verb first form आएगा. To is a preposition. Most of the time, it could be part of a phrasal verb. It could be part of a phrase. It could be part of an idiom. So you have to be careful. Also, see if there is a need of verb or what here. Owing to what? Okay. You couldn't see, right now you are unable to see me. Owing to power failure. Okay. Owing to power outage. So owing to what? What is the reason you are unable to see me as of now? Because there is no power. तो ओवन टू का टू है वो, इसलिए उसके पीछे आई कैन यूज अ नाउन, आई कैन यूज इफ आई डोंट गेट अ नाउन अ जेरेंड एंड व्हाट नॉट. I hope Zeba, now I have cleared your doubt. I scrolled too far, so I'll just explain this. Despite inflation falling to a 6-year low and lending rates easing. Despite का जो sentence fragment है, it gets over here. Investor sentiment continues to remain subdued. Now, there is a redundancy here. Continues means to remain, right? So I can say continues, subdued, or I can say remains subdued, because subdued जो है as adjective काम करेगा. I cannot say remain and continues say at like just back to back for the same meaning. So this is a question of redundancy, unnecessary using a word which is already conveyed earlier. This was a good question. I wanted to give you, but then last one. Redundancy. Redundant. It means something is not needed and still it is there in front of you. So वो चीज redundant है, काम की नहीं है. So the fifth one answer is B. A sharp deceleration in mining and the म्यूट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ग्रोथ का मतलब हो जाएगा कि वो बोल नहीं पाता, लाइक अ पर्सन इज अ म्यूट पर्सन, ओके, बट दैट्स नॉट वी वांट. द ग्रोथ इज नॉट विजिबल, सो वी वांट मेटाफोरिक यूज ऑफ इट, तो म्यूटेड आएगा. ओके, अभी जो ग्रोथ है मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की वो बंद है, तो म्यूटेड ग्रोथ शुड हैव प्रॉम्प्टेड अ रीन्यू डिस्कशन ऑन कैपेक्स. ओके, तो ये हमारे आज के क्वेश्चंस थे. थैंक यू सो मच गाइस फॉर बीइंग हियर, एंड सिंस देयर इज पावर आउटेज आई वोंट गो अहेड विद द सेशन एंड later on just end it abruptly. So that's it for today. We are going to meet tomorrow same time. Don't forget